Hello, this is John Schwinghammer, and welcome to Purple Chips webinar for July 23rd, 2012. I'm John Schwinghammer, the author of Purple Chips, a bestseller on Amazon.ca. The first thing that I would like to do today is point out the disclaimer that we have. Just a moment. And here you can see that the subject of the meeting today is not a solicitation, so take a second to read through this and then we'll get on to the webinar. Okay, that should be enough time. Now, my objective today is to point out a few opportunities that are in the market. We've had the Dow and the S&P have been quite weak lately, and that's because of all the turmoil that's happening in Europe. But there are some low valuation signals popping up on a few very good quality stocks. So I'd like to point out those opportunities. For example, in Stryker, SYK, TEVA, TEVA, Becton Dickinson, BDX, LabCorp, LH, and Aflac, AFL. What I want to show you is also in the second point is how to differentiate between a buy signal in a top 25 purple chip and the other purple chips. I always give priority to the top 25. So in other words, if I'm holding a purple chip that is just on the list below the top 25, let's say in the other 200 stock universe, let's say, or 230 stock universe of purple chips, I will always give priority to the ones that are top 25. And so what I want to talk to you about today is how to identify the difference in these things. Now, what you see on the screen here is Aflac, AFL, and basically the thing I'd like to point out is that this is a top 25 purple chip because if you look at the earnings profile, you can actually see, excuse me for one second, you can actually see that the earnings have not had a hiccup in the last 20 years. And that's the sort of thing that you want, okay? Now, I'll compare that with another company, Walgreen, and you'll see that in the case of Walgreen, it's a little different. This is not a top 25 purple chip. It's still a great company. But the reason it's not a top 25 is because you've had some situations where, for example, the earnings have been quite flat. And that's the sort of thing that differentiates this from the top 25, because the top 25 never have those little drawdowns in earnings. And so this is a company that is certainly not in the same league as something like a Walgreens. Now, I'm just going to switch back to the other opportunities, and you'll see the difference. So if I'm looking at Stryker, for example, you'll see that we're at a very low valuation right now. The reason we're at a low valuation, you can see that the earnings line, when it's pegged with the last trading price here, Stryker is at $50.50, and this is the lowest valuation that we've seen in quite a while. It's consistent with the low valuation that we had back here and back here too. So these are a lot of fun. I really like Stryker. This is a great company. Now, I want to show you some of the other ones. There's LabCorp, which is also showing some opportunity right now. There you see LabCorp. And TEVA. TEVA looks very interesting. It's been on our buy list for quite a while. Becton Dickinson, BDX. And you can see by the position of the earnings per share line that these stocks are all cheap. And at one point, for example, in the case of Becton Dickinson had a considerably higher valuation. And actually, if it hits the high end of the valuation range, we think Becton Dickinson can go somewhere in the probably in the high 80s or so, 73, 78 actually. The last one here is one that I looked at just a little while ago, and that's been on my list for quite a while, is Aflac, of course. And Aflac is a very good quality company. So that's all for today, and we're gonna try to have these weekly webinar updates for you from now on. So take a look at these stocks, and if you have any comments, you can reach me by email or even give me a phone call. Go to the Purple Chip site, and you'll see everything you need to know there. And last thing, of course, there will be charting capability coming up on purplechips.com now. And that's a really important feature, and I think everyone's going to like that. And we look forward to your feedback. So thanks for joining me today. I'm John Schwinghammer, the author of Purple Chips. Thank you very much.